I am 22 years old and I am in $91,300 worth of debt, and I am filing Chapter 7 bankruptcy today.
We owe $40,204.70 on my boobs.
Oh my gosh.
I am 18 and I am over $500,000 in debt. A big portion is going to come from this house that I bought the house in my longtime boyfriend.
I'm 28 and I'm in over 6 figures of debt.
Hi, my name is Sierra. I am 18 and I am over $500,000 in debt. So come cook dinner with me and clean my kitchen while I talk about how I got here. Okay, so let's talk about the first thing that got me started off having any debt in the first place. This year in May, I think it was, right before the summer, I purchased my dream car.
We already off to a bad start. You know, what did she say? She was like 18 or something, 19? I don't know. Something in the teens, very young. And once again, fell into the trap of getting the dream car right on time. When I say right on time, this is essentially something that the banks love for you to do. Because unfortunately, when you're young as she is, they know you might be a little bit more gullible, easy to sway or manipulate, and more likely to make bad financial decisions, especially if you didn't have somebody to guide you through how to be financially responsible and give you financial education and financial literacy. So you think getting a dream car when you're 18, 19, 20 is a great idea because YOLO, you only live once, right? And the part that you're not thinking about is most 18, 19, 20-year-olds aren't making a large amount of income. And more than likely, your dream car is expensive.
So I've been working full-time since I was a sophomore in high school. So I did not go to school. I worked full-time and did online school while I was working. So I've been making a full-time income as a manager of a spa the whole time. So I was able to be in this position.
And why is the debt so much? It's not adding up.
So with that being said, I ended up buying a 2025 Honda CR-V hybrid at the beginning of this year. She doesn't get a car wash ever, but... And I'm going to be completely transparent because that's why you're watching and I love when other people are. So I ended up paying, I think it was $49 after everything for that. So it was around $49,000. I don't remember what my down payment was, but I now owe, I think, like $23, $22 on it.
Oh my gosh. Why? $23,000 on a 2025 Honda. And mind you, I actually don't think the Honda itself as the brand is the bad choice. It's the fact that it's a 2025. Mind you, we are currently about to wrap up 2025, getting into 2026. She posted this December 7th. Ma'am, why a 2025 though? Like, do y'all have something against used vehicles? Vehicles that are a couple of years older, maybe cheaper, I don't know. Maybe could have saved you some money. But again, she said this was her dream car. And yeah.
And my goal is to pay it off in the next few months, or at least by the next year it has to be paid off. So that is where the first amount of debt comes from, and that will hopefully be paid off soon, but that's why I'm making this, to hold myself accountable and to make sure that it gets paid off. And I love watching these. That Caleb guy has been all over my For You page, so it inspired me just to be transparent because everyone's life looks great, but that is the debt for my car. So that is a small percentage of the $500,000 that I claimed.
She just said everybody's life essentially looks perfect, but people are in debt. Ma'am, if you're 18, 19 years old, you're not supposed to be balling. You're not supposed to be driving the dream car. Now, those who are able to do that because for whatever reason they're making a large amount of income straight out of high school, that's a blessing, don't get me wrong, but that's not normal. That's not the norm. Most 18, 19, 20-year-olds don't have money. And I'm hoping that's the people that her FYP or her TikTok is showing her, because if you're comparing yourself to 27-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, a whole bunch of life has been lived. There's job experience behind that, degrees maybe. Nobody is expecting adults fresh out of high school to have money like that. And yeah, even a little bit of debt, even for them. But the amount you was talking, there's something deeper.
So the other big portion is going to come from this house. We just moved in and closed November 1st. So with that being said, I bought the house with my longtime boyfriend, so it is not on me, it is both of our loan. So the house...
I'm sorry, no. It's a chop for me. And I know a lot of y'all you have heard me say this before. I just don't think it's a good idea to get any sort of property with a boyfriend. I don't care if they're long term. I don't care. Doesn't matter. I have did so many videos showing you guys what happens. It's a recipe for disaster. And I hope they get married. I hope that, till death do you part in that case. This is dangerous. I don't say this to be judgmental. I say this to be real. That is dangerous. Boyfriends, girlfriends, they come and go. They do. They really do. There's no legal obligation, and it gets very messy in court. Very messy.
Not that I wanted to share this information, but I guess we're being transparent. The house, after we put our down payment down and paid all the fees and whatever, it came out to $503 is what the loan amount was for. So we have a $500,000 loan under us for that, which we have a 30-year loan for that, and my goal is to get that paid off as fast as possible. So hopefully not in 30 years. If so, this is gonna be a long series I'm making for 30 years to pay off my house loan.
And why would it ever make sense to be $500,000 in debt for a house on a mortgage with somebody that you're not? Come on now. This isn't your husband either? Question mark. Send help, please. Help her, somebody. Oh, goodness. And I'm all for home ownership when it makes sense. It needs to make sense.
That is the debt I'm dealing with and working on paying off. I am making a goal to post about it and be transparent about it because I feel like it's extremely realistic and it's hard for other people to put themselves in, compare themselves to other people when it's literally all just a bunch of debt. Everyone is just in a ton of debt. And if you're not, congratulations. But the rest of us are.
Oh, gosh. Everybody's not getting their dream car, though, for around $50,000 in their early teen years. Everybody's not doing that. And they're not getting a $500,000 house with their boyfriend. Everybody's not doing that. 30-year mortgage, long-time commitment for a house with somebody you're not sure is going to be there for. But I digress. It's your life. If you like it, I love it.
So this is just me personally, what debt I have and what I'm working through. A lot of people wouldn't count their house as debt, I feel like, whenever anyone talks about it, but it is in fact debt.
And I agree. A lot of people wouldn't count the mortgage as debt. It's still debt, but many people consider it good debt. And I would have loved if she said how much the mortgage is, because I just gotta wonder at this point. And is the boyfriend making bank? Because she said she was like a manager at a spa or something. And we always have to think long term when we have these conversations about home ownership, being able to afford a mortgage, and who you're getting in that mortgage with. All of that matters. Somebody here says, hey, so it's not realistic to buy a brand new $50,000 car and a $500,000 house at 18. And I agree. I don't know where that became normal at. And I'm glad somebody else is saying it, because I didn't want to sound like I'm just nitpicky. No, somebody else says you bought a house at 18 with your long-term ... boyfriend. And I agree completely. Not sorry. No, because there's somebody watching this out there who is also 18, 19, who thinks that this will be a good idea. No, absolutely not. And if you don't believe me, ask your mother, ask your grandma, ask your aunt, ask anybody, any women who have been an adult in the real world past a year, ask someone who's been an adult past 10 years. Does that make sense? Because a lot of those women would tell you they've went through many different boyfriends. They come and go, just like the city bus. Next 15, one coming. And again, I want to point this out. Somebody here is saying most of us are in debt for school or medical bills, not buying a house at 18. And that's exactly what I'm saying. You might be in some debt at 18 because you're broke. You just got out of high school. I was broke out of high school. That's how it went. I didn't have a family that had a bunch of money to give me, put me in school, give me a house, give me a car. None of that. So you turn 18 and you try to figure out your way in life and get a job or find a way to be able to make money while you're still young and healthy, because of course this is the best time if you really take advantage and don't make dumb decisions. You can do a lot in 5 years. Instead, a lot of people make decisions that will hinder them 30. And it's up to you.
How do you start paying off debt while you're in college?
You have to get a job. And I'm not saying she doesn't have one, but that's the answer. You have to get a job. You have to have some sort of income. You need income in order to pay off debt, unless you're going to file bankruptcy and try to get it wiped out. And that even still costs money. That's the way. Or have rich parents, donations, fundraisers. I don't know. My whole point is the money has to come from somewhere or somebody.
It's a serious question because I need to know. I just got a new car in her right now. Sorry, I'm going a little crazy, guys. Excuse me. So this is part of the debt. I have a stupid credit card. I'm in debt on that too because I haven't had a job. Plus, I have student loans. Isn't that just so cool?
No job, credit card debt, new car, student loans. And granted, she might be so busy with her studies that she can't go to work. I don't know. I'm actually just thinking of ways she can try to get money. Perhaps scholarships, door dashing on the side when you have free time. Because again, she's asking a genuine question. And this is what a lot of college students were doing. You might have to get some roommates to help cut down that cost of living, depending on where you live, if you're living by yourself in, say, an apartment.
So, yeah, I'm in a lot of debt, and I don't have a job right now. Guys, like, I don't have a job. I got fired from it last month because I wasn't able to freaking make a shift because I had a calculus exam, even though I had my shift up for grabs for a while, and no one took it. After me asking so many people, like 25, 30, I've now applied to like 6 or 7 jobs. Haven't gotten one. So now I'm doing these stupid side gigs, like Rover and DoorDash, but I haven't been able to do the DoorDash stuff because I've been so busy with studying. On Rover, I don't make anything. I got my first booking 2 days ago for this weekend for 3 wonderful little kitties. Love them. I met them today.
Right.
I'm only getting paid $35 for the whole weekend of taking care of them. And I haven't gotten any more bookings because I don't have any reviews. I just don't know, like, what to do. I've applied to so many jobs. I've gotten 0 in the last month. Now I'm doing these side gigs, and now I have my car payment due in 2 weeks, 2 or 3, and no job. And I know that I'm not gonna be able to make that much money on Rover. Maybe I will, but I kinda doubt it. But yeah, so if y'all have any suggestions on what to do, please let me know, because I need help with making money.
Oh gosh. I said scholarships, grants. She's already doing Rover. Like, hopefully she is able to get a job, because that's a tough situation to be in. And I know a lot of people struggle with this phase right here. And then she might even be too young to where people don't want to hire her because she's too young. I remember what that felt like. So when I hear the younger people saying like, hey, I'm not able to get a job and stuff like that, I can understand. You know, a lot of people are struggling to get jobs right now in this current economy, and they're using things like Rover, DoorDash, and things like that to help them out until they can get something a little bit more permanent. But in her case, school still might be an issue, unfortunately. It's a dangerous cycle to be in. And then here's another comment saying, file for bankruptcy. It's going to reset your whole life and your credit. Not necessarily for the student loans. You can't do it with the student loans. And if a lot of her debt is coming from student loans, she just has to figure that out and pay it. Somebody here is saying grants. Somebody here says, as your fellow UNL person that goes to a university and actually just got a job as a pizza delivery guy, try to shut down spending money and go on a budget. She said, I cannot spend money. All I have been buying is gas and groceries. And even groceries, I'm spending very little money. Honestly, the only other way is to find more income. But I wish her well, because it's really hard being a college student or being a very young adult in school and in debt and with no job. I think she has a new car. Like, I don't know why it's a new car, but I think that's what she said. This is a lot.
If you want to feel better about your life, I am in 20,000, a little over 20,000 worth of credit card debt. Here's who I owe, how much I owe, and what the interest rate is. The largest one I have is Capital One, which is $5,125.79 at 25.9 on my interest rate.
Wow, that is absolutely horrible. Specifically, I'm talking about the percentage rate on her card, 25%. Might as well be 26%.
But the catch is, that's not even my highest rate.
It's not?
Second biggest is I took out of my 401k with my job to pay off my credit card debt, I think like 2 years ago. And we're just back in the same spot. But that's the second highest balance at $4,185.97, but it's only a 9%.
That is, oh my God. So she took out her 401k to pay off debt, but then ended up racking back up the debt. This is why it's important to learn the lessons and try not to repeat the same mistakes. And I understand life happens to people. That's probably what happened to her. Probably wasn't intentional. But obviously, whatever she planned didn't go according to plan. And to make matters worse, took a loan out in order to do that. And she's paying interest for that same loan when the plan didn't even work how she wanted it to work. At least with the 401k loan, it doesn't sound like she took the money directly out of 401k and then got penalized and everything. Because there's a whole bunch of different things that come along with you doing that versus you getting a 401k loan.
My next one is with Best Buy Citibank. I owe them $1,413.66, and I have a promotional rate with them, so it's at a 0%. Fourth loan is with Chase, a Freedom credit card at $2,283.25 at a 27.9 interest rate.
Ugly. At least it's not that much on the card, but still about 28%. Do you guys see how high these interest rates can be for these credit cards?
Last 2 credit cards that I have, they are my highest rates, so they're the ones I'm tackling right off the bat.
Higher.
I have an Amex card that holds a balance of $300 $379.70 at a 28.65 interest rate. That is my number one that I'm gonna be tackling as of July 1st. And I have another credit card with Credit One. I call it my pink Credit One because it's a cute little pink card. And it is $1,631.15, and that APR is a 28.15. Paying on a personal loan that I used to debt consolidate again, like 3 years ago. And I currently owe on that one $4,030.87, and that is at an 11%. So not high priority on the interest. Of a couple Affirm.
Oh my gosh, not Affirm. We already got credit consolidations, borrowing from the 401k, and now you add Affirm, and there better not be no Klarna in here. Affirm is bad too, because obviously, this woman can't afford any more loans, any more debt, and the list is going on and on and on and on.
Loans that I used to help furnish my house because I moved out in the beginning of this year. So I owe 3 different ones. I owe a small balance of $203.22. I owe $658.54, $772.45. And then I do have a car loan that's of $32,000, but I am not including that in this process.
Why? That's a big deal. $32,000 for your car loan is still debt. People get their cars repoed all the time. I'm just saying it's something that you definitely have to consider. It's a loan. Why would this is blowing my mind?
Because I think I would get overwhelmed at this point. I need to start at least somewhere and then go from there. 10,000 in debt. And when I pulled all the numbers, I was double. So this is your sign to at least, even if you're just making your minimum payments, to be at least aware of what you have in your debt. That's all I can say, because the awareness is what brought me to this journey, because I was not aware.
The reason I feel a lot of people aren't aware is because maybe they're not operating within a budget, and maybe they're honestly not checking their spending habits, actually checking their credit card statements, their debit card, if that's where they're spending. Obviously, she's doing majority of her spending on a credit card or using Affirm or loans and things like that. And that stuff really adds up, y'all. She's like $50K in debt. And if you just think how many people make $50K a year after taxes, even if you made $100,000 a year after taxes, $50K of that, if you wanted to pay it off in a year, would be half of what you make from your job in 1 year's time. And I started at $100,000. Most people don't make $100,000. It gets worse the less money you make per year. That means it's going to take you longer to pay off. And hopefully she has a high-paying job. For those of y'all who are watching this, you don't have to go through anything like this to know that this is a bad idea and this is a road you do not want to turn down. If you see yourself going down this road, run away and reel it back in real quick, because how fast debt escalates for a lot of people is heartbreaking. It's excruciating to watch and just hear the numbers, because when you calculate all the hours that this person has to work at their job, you'll just be like, oh my gosh, that's X amount of hours that you haven't even done yet because you haven't went to your job to go make that money because you're in debt. Otherwise, you could just pay this money off. You don't have it. Future you is already clocked in or working overtime or going without, living on even less to try to make this debt go away, and likely doing some sort of side hustles, likely trying to increase that income so you can wipe this debt clean. And I'm wishing her well on her journey. And it takes a lot of bravery to say these things online, to be open about debt, because it is a very taboo topic. A lot of people don't like to be vulnerable and show that they may have made some mistakes financially, but she's definitely not the only one going through something like this.
Today is one of those days. I am a lot in debt.
I can see it says what it feels like to be $76,795 in debt as a 26-year-old scared for her future. You feel speechless.
I don't make enough money for me to be in this much debt.
I mean, at least she's being honest with herself. And who knows, her debt might be student loan debt or something. But that is a lot of debt still. If it's consumer debt, that's even worse, to be honest.
I am 22 years old and I am in $91,300 worth of debt, and I am filing Chapter 7 bankruptcy today.
22 with 91,000? First off, you can't put student loans on there, so it can't be student loans. Girl, what? 91,000?
I've had such a bad financial burden the last couple years. So after meeting with an attorney and doing lots of research, I realized that filing bankruptcy really isn't as bad as it's made out to be, and it was truly going to be my best bet. I decided to file Chapter 7, and truthfully, my consumer debt really is not that bad. A lot of people have it a lot worse financially, but for me, $91,000 was just too much. It was uncomfortable, and I just wanted to get a fresh start. I moved to Texas directly after high school, and I made a lot of very irresponsible decisions financially and really dug myself into a big hole of debt. I decided, let's go ahead and file bankruptcy. Let's give myself a clean slate. That way I can stop stressing and I can actually do better.
She said she wasn't in consumer debt. And again, this can't be student loans. What is this? What could it be then? What did you buy? Is it a house? Is it a car?
Okay, just to give you a little breakdown of the debt that I do have that totals up to the $91,300.
Yeah.
I owe about $51,000 on the vehicle that I have. We did try selling that, trading it in, all that good stuff, but I have way too much negative equity to come out on top.
Do y'all see why I say cars are a debt trap? Hopefully these videos click for somebody. It ain't gonna click for all of y'all because all of y'all don't want to hear this. But for somebody, I think you're the somebody who's watching this video that it's gonna click for you. $50K on a vehicle in your early 20s, you just asking to be broke. You're just asking, like, make me broke, please. Keep me broke forever to the bank. What car could it have been worth $50,000 at 20? And let me guess, I don't know. I'm thinking this is for a dream car because these are dream car numbers that I'm hearing. This is well established at a job prices that I expect for a car. And I don't even think that people who are well established in their career field are even paying $50,000 on a car.
I bought a motorcycle back in 2022. Thought that was a great idea. I owe $5,000 still on that. Same thing. Tried selling it, not able to get what we owe out of it.
Why buy these things in the first place if it was going to put you in this position? And this is the thing that people aren't considering is the financial impact these decisions that you're making right now are going to have on you in 5 to 10 years. No one is thinking about it. It's like the motorcycle likely was bought as an impulse purchase, and it's definitely not a necessity. A motorcycle is never a necessity, especially when you already have a car. So this is just a string, of bad financial decisions at a very young age, leading up to debt. And vehicles are one of the biggest debt traps.
I do own a camper, and I owe about $13,400 on that.
She's lying. Is she lying? We're being punked. We have to be. She owns a camper?
However, I live out of that camper because I can't afford a house.
So she lives in the camper because she can't afford a house, but you can't afford a house probably because the cost of all these other things that you've bought irresponsibly are pricing you out of a house or maybe even rent. Because it's understandable why a lot of people may not be able to afford a house. We don't expect you to be able to afford a house at 22. Rent is kind of high though, so I get that. But you only have so much money left over after the car loan, the motorcycle, and whatever else is spent on them credit cards or whatever loans you got that you must pay back. I would love to challenge everybody to ask before you make these larger purchases to really sit down and look at your finances and get a clear understanding of, can you afford this item and live? And also include the rising cost of living, inflation. If you're like, oh, it's only going to cost me $1,600 for my rent every month. No, tell yourself it's going to cost you $2,000. Tell yourself that insurance is going to go up. Tell yourself that water bill is likely going to go up year after year, and your electricity. Tell yourself that your food budget that you have is probably going to go up from last year. Because last I checked, inflation's been going up since I was a kid. And I'm sure if you think about when you were a kid, it was going up. We used to could get a little bag of chips for 25 cents. We never went back to that. I know people who said they used to could get a loaf of bread for 5 cents. It never went back to that time. It was never as cheap as it was in the past. Do y'all ever notice that? So this whole conversation about, oh, stuff is going up, prices need to come back down. Tell me, when did it ever? I'll wait. Exactly. So if you're cutting it close with cars, motorcycles, whatever your thing is, and you're not accounting for inflation, you might be doing it wrong. you might be setting yourself up for debt for asking, how am I going to live? Where am I going to live? Because for many people, you can only work so many hours and your job is only going to pay you so much. These are things you really have to consider.
So I am keeping that since I do live in it. I have $2,200 worth of medical bills that I had no idea were in collections. And then I have $12,000 worth of student loans. However, those do not get forgiven with bankruptcy, so I will still continue that payment.
She's absolutely right. You can't get student loans forgiven during bankruptcy. But the medical stuff, and who knows if she has medical insurance, since everything seems like it's cutting it so close with her being able to live. And honestly, I can understand if she didn't. Medical insurance for a lot of people is extremely high. But what a lot of people are paying for those car loans every month is not getting paid for medical insurance. So you can have a nice car or something like that. This is actually insane.
And then I have about $7,700 worth of credit card debt.
And then she has $7,700 of credit card debt. Wow.
All coming into a grand total of $91,300. So after meeting with an attorney, she decided filing Chapter 7 is going to be my best bet. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do. Since I was referred to her from somebody that is currently filing bankruptcy with her, she did cut me a discount. So my bankruptcy is only going to cost me about $1,100. So I've already paid all of those fees to her to do a free consultation with her. And then after I decided to go ahead and file, I paid a deposit and I received a workbook. I went ahead and filled that workbook out and everything. And it just pretty much, it needed all my information, my income, all my belongings and stuff like that I have. And then I listed all of my creditors as well. So thankfully you are able to actually pick and choose what you do file on whenever it comes to bankruptcies. I did decide to surrender the truck, and then I am surrendering the motorcycle as well. I am keeping my camper and I will have to keep my student loans, but otherwise everything's gonna be wiped clean.
Gosh, I hope that this comes with a new change of mind, a renewal of the mindset, better spending habits, a budget, something. Because filing bankruptcy at 22, this is young. This is extremely young. Not to say that people who are 22 can't, but it's the fact that you're so young with so much debt. And some of this was very unnecessary, to be honest. And the youth scare me, especially the ones that feel like, hey, I'm just going to get a clean start and blah, blah. No, it's not just a clean start. The clean start is changing how you think about spending, how you steward the money given to you, how you budget it. It's all of that. Understanding the things in the economy that might shift, causing you to spend more money or go into more debt. It's being able to play chess, not checkers, thinking 3 steps ahead so you can avoid bad situations, bad financial situations, instead of just like one day at a time, I'm just going to do this and then just do that. That's where the debt comes from. You're not thinking long term.
So we're gonna go ahead and go in, we're gonna sign a little bit of paperwork, get everything finalized so she can actually file that.
And it says here, we actually witnessed her going to file Chapter 7 bankruptcy at 22 years old. Man, extremely young. And this first comment says, girl, $50K on the car. And I agree. $50K is nuts. Another comment says, almost $10K of debt at 22 and filing for bankruptcy is actually insane. And I agree. Filing bankruptcy is pretty bad. Somebody here is saying, you couldn't waterboard this information out of me. And here's what I propose. If you are a young adult going to a car lot, don't go there yourself. Go there with somebody who's an established adult. When I say established adult, I mean somebody that you may look to as a mentor or somebody whose life you would like to emulate. Granted, you never know what people are going through. They could be in a lot of debt. The point I'm trying to really make here is, don't go to a car dealer, young and gullible, excited to get your dream car, and leave a car salesman rubbing his hands when you leave because you are oblivious to what you've just done, the damage you've just done to yourself for years to come. Bring somebody you trust, preferably somebody who understands car loans, interest rates, depreciation, Kelly Blue Book. And if you can't bring somebody to do all of this, do the research yourself and understand the long-term impacts on getting a car, especially an expensive car. At this point, if it's over 40K, if it's over 30K when you're 22, you need to understand what that means with the interest rate that's attached to that. Likely your parents have not helped you build credit up, or you have not built enough good credit to have a good interest rate on a car loan. And the car salesmen are going to have a field day with you. Just being honest. Be careful out there, y'all. This is serious. This is serious stuff.
I'm 28 and I'm in over 6 figures of debt.
6.
I can't believe you said that out loud. So I totaled up all of my debt and I am currently in $124,424.04 of debt. That's not even including my mortgages, and I have 2 of them. The majority of my debt is from my student loans. For context, I decided to get a master's degree from a very expensive Ivy League school, and it cost me over $80,000. And it's one of the biggest financial regrets that I have, but it's my situation, and I know that if I just keep beating myself up over it without taking any action, I'm going to just be stuck where I'm at.
The real question is, what is the degree in? I heard she went to Ivy League, and I know, yeah, she didn't have to. She could have went to community college, maybe, I don't know. But did you become this much in debt to be a doctor, a lawyer, something that will help you quickly pay it off? If not, that's scary. Because depending on the field, despite what a lot of you may think, a lot of people can pay that off. Yeah, because they have high paying jobs after graduating. They just got to lock it down for about 1 to 2, maybe 3 years. Yes, nobody wants to pay their student loans back, but that's honestly like a fantasy land. Realistically speaking, though, it can be done with certain jobs. Maybe she has one.
So I'm making it my mission to pay off all of my bad debt by my 30th birthday, which is about 19 months from now. The reason why I'm setting this goal is because I want to be financially free in my 30s. I want to build generational wealth that my family never had, and I can't do that with this debt mentally and financially draining me.
The fact that she seems motivated enough to pay off this debt in 19 months makes me think that she might actually have the income to do it. Again, some people can. Somebody here says, the more I hear about the US, the more it sounds like a third world country. And I need to know for all of for all of the people watching outside of the United States, does it sound like a third world country? And even for the ones that live here, let me know what you think.
We're gonna tell you how many dollars we owe at 23 years old. We owe $40,204.70 on my boobs.
Now, oh my gosh. Okay, so she owes money from a cosmetic surgery she had on her chest. $3,200 still owed.
So $20,159.74 on my truck.
We had a career change years ago. We owe $4,013.04 from a loan that we took to transition. We owe $58.11 on my Capital One card. I just forget I have that actually. I used to have a boutique and I did inspired stuff. That went really bad. China did me really dirty. So we owe $4,771.95 from refunds I had to send.
I do a lot of videos talking about business owners and how these are the realities. People take losses all the time for refunds, even products just not selling. Unfortunately, this is part of her debt also.
That comes out to a grand total of $32,207.54. A lot.
And I hope that anybody who watches this video understands how dangerous debt can be and how fast it can accumulate for multiple different reasons. But we got to start making better decisions today in order to have a better future.